Yay Networks.
Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sybil Amuti, and I can't wait for you to hear all of the Great Girlfriend magic on today's show. So without further ado, grab something great to drink, grab your pen and your paper, and get ready for this week's episode. Enjoy! Happy Wednesday, great girlfriends. I'm so excited to be here with you today. It is day one of my menstrual cycle. If I can just keep it 100 with you, I'm feeling all the feels today. So just bear with me and journey with me through this episode. I'm so excited though, because I feel like, there's all this really great winter energy because everyone loves the holiday season and everyone's truly excited about, the change of seasons and looking forward to 2024 and, all the giving that takes place around this time of year. So I'm like in a different mindset because guess what? While everyone on the East Coast has the leaves changing, they've got snow coming and all the things, I'm in LA. So it's like a Tuesday in July. It's like we don't quite get all of the things that everyone else gets. So I love seeing all the posts and all the stories and sharing pictures of you great girlfriends on road trips, getting in like all the final runs of the year. It is super exciting. Thank you for sending those over. I also love bringing on my personal great girlfriends who are experts at the things they do, who are really super dope humans and very passionate about community and passionate about you on a singular level. So, most of you already know and have heard or experienced the Lucinda Cross, but I wanted to bring her back on today to have a conversation with me. Hey, Lucinda.
Hey, Sybil, what's up?
How you feeling?
I'm good. Listen, I'll take the Tuesday in July, in November. I'll take that.
'Cause it's like,
Please.
I don't like y'all have the like you have frost, you have coats on, and I'm like in biker shorts and like,
Oh,
you
I
know.
would love that. I would, because I get this winter blues thing. I get this,
Oh, I
yeah,
do
the sun
I used to
starts
get
going.
that.
Yeah, I get the winter blues, and I'm like, oh,
'Cause at 4 o'clock, it's like it's 7 p.m. and yeah, it's dark.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, I used to get that on the East Coast, but I also miss like having the seasons. Like where you live, it's just beautiful. It's like one of those thousand-piece puzzles that your granny used to do with all the trees in the lake.
And where you live is where everybody wants to retire
I
and
was
live
like,
their best life and travel to. So
yeah, we
your
should be
place is on my
I should be
vision board.
grateful. So Lou, I was telling you earlier, it's day one of my cycle, and you would think that at my quote unquote big age, it would normalize, but it doesn't. Every now and then, it's like, it's just these awkward days. And I have been on Skittles lately. I'm just kind of sharing. I don't even eat candy. Wild berry Skittles have changed my life this week.
I tell you, right, I'm not even kidding. If I can go grab the half a pack of Skittles that I have, because I'm on day 3.
Oh no. So
I'm
you
on
just been like, you've been with me.
my back has been hurting, and I'm like, but I found it in my son's pocket, and I'm like, "Oh, I want these
You
Skittles."
took them from your son.
I took them. He don't have them in his book bag today.
He's at school looking for his Skittles, like, mom got me. She
Yeah,
got me.
yeah.
I know. Shout out to all the girlfriends who are hitting that time of the month. This too shall pass. We know it passes, and every month it comes, but it just always feels new. Every month, I'm like, dang, it's my cycle again. Like
Yeah.
I don't ever get comfortable with like
Mhm. I'm like,
every month.
"Why? Why? Why
Yeah.
today?"
Why today? Why today? And normally I try to schedule things around it, like I try to, but she was on her own time this month,
Yeah.
so I got it when I got it. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, we're late.
Mhm. And I was like, "Oh, we're early. Wow. Okay. So we're just gonna have 2. All right, great."
Right. I
Oh,
know, people don't
joy.
understand. So let me ask you this because you have a daughter. Do you feel like your cycle synced up?
When she was, because she's in college now. Well, actually, she did just tell me today. She's like, "Mom, I'm on day 1." And
Mhm.
I guess we're still in sync.
I
And when she
yeah.
was home, we had to just stay away from each other because it was like,
See? It's
"Meow.
I
What's your
do believe
cycle?"
it. Yeah, I had a doctor on, I think it was earlier this year, who said that that is like, this urban legend that women sync up, like, when they're together, when they spend time, but I've synced up with friends, I've synced up with my sisters,
Yep.
And I do believe that like my cycle will delay itself sometimes if I'm going to see one of my sisters and, it's crazy. So, I know that we're all meant to be this human ecosystem, but that's not what we came on to talk about today. I just felt like I needed to share so that it could make my morning easier.
I know.
So and I know some women are like, "Oh my gosh, she's on her cycle too. I'm on my cycle too." It
Yeah.
is what it is. We out here doing it.
Mhm.
But I do wanna share a cycle tip though. I do
What?
wanna share a tip. So, so in our Facebook group, Great
Mhm.
Girlfriends Facebook group, we had a conversation about those period panties, right?
Okay.
And right, and so I was so, like, on the fence about whether or not I would ever try them. Were they for
Mhm.
me? I
Mhm.
tried them the first time, and I felt like I was wearing a diaper, so I was like, "Nope, they're not for me." Okay.
Mhm.
A friend of mine said, "Give them a chance. Don't wear them on, like, day 1. Do, like, day 3 through 4 or 5 or whatever your latter days are, and you'll feel fine." And she was right.
Really?
Yeah, so, like, those period panties actually work. I like Thinx, I use those, but, I mean, I think anybody you could use whatever brand works for you, but
Okay.
it's
I'm
not day 1. Day I was when I tell you day 1, I was like a toddler, like, "Get me out of this pull up." It was really weird. I was like, "I don't like this."
I haven't ventured. This is crazy. This has been the trend today. I had a meeting earlier today, and the lady's like, "Do you try cups?" And I'm like, "No." I said, "I'm just scared to put a cup in, a pamper on. I just want to roll it up, wrap it up, throw it away,
Right,
pull it
right.
out, whatever." But I was like, I'll give it a try. I got a pair of period panties upstairs, but I'm like,
Yeah, you on day 3, you could probably rock 'em. I haven't done a cup. I've heard of them, and I'm just probably too old school. I
yeah.
don't know. I'm with you. I haven't gone there, but I'm open.
I'm
I'm open.
open. I'm open.
Yeah.
Listen, to each his own, right?
I know, right? To each his own, because we have to figure out the best ways to make it work. And then we have children. You have children. I have daughter, and she's in a stage where I'm now learning this stuff. So I'm
Mhm.
asking questions of everyone who's had to teach a girl, like,
Ooh,
right, all these things. So
yeah.
look out for my text. I do want to get into the gritty gritty of the gritty today because this series that we're doing right now is all about self sabotage and we're kicking this off because we're moving into our Ready, Set, Go challenge at the top of January. And the
Mhm,
Ready, Set, Go challenge is all about the mental mindset you need to move into your new year. I
mhm,
love it because when we do this challenge, we have, at least maybe 100 women, maybe more, come together for 3 days to kickstart their year. And they're disrupting things that got in their way in 2023 or the
mhm,
year prior. And they're also addressing like things that they maybe have inherited,
mhm.
habits that they didn't even realize were habits, because you know how routine we are that we're just doing, and we don't
Yes.
necessarily think about all of the decisions we're making. We're on autopilot in a lot of areas of our life. And so I know there's great girlfriends listening who are like, thinking if it's okay, then why do I need to change things? Or,
Mhm,
life's not terrible, right?
mhm,
So why
mhm.
would I need to disrupt? But life can also be greater and it can actually be outstanding and extraordinary.
Yes.
And I think also we have great girlfriends listening who have just put certain areas of their life on ice, like romantic life. I'm going to put that on ice because I haven't met anyone. I'm tired of the apps. Dating is so terrible in 2024. I hear it all the time. I hear that I have zero understanding and I don't. I really don't understand. But I do empathize. And so maybe romantic life is on ice or it could be at that space where they've tried to lose that last 10 pounds and couldn't get it off the middle. And so they put weight loss or they put fitness or wellness on ice, just
Yes.
things that they just put dormant because they couldn't figure out a way to disrupt it or make it happen. And so we find ourselves in these cycles of sabotage because what happens is if you never address it, or as the great poet Jay-Z said, you can't heal what you don't reveal, right? If you don't
Mhm.
expose things and shed a light on dark areas in your life, they will just remain dark.
That's so true.
Right.
So
And
true.
so you being you have here as social media influencer and international keynote speaker, and I think that is so limiting to who you are. Uh, like I that's like
Give me a new
yeah,
title. Can I
I
change it? I'm ready, coach.
I think you're like chief activator. I don't know. I just feel like you like
I had that up there, and when I took it down, it was a problem. People were like, "Why did you take down chief activator? Why did you?" What took
Yeah.
that up? And I was like, because I don't think people got it. And I was like, that's what they want to follow you for. So, okay, we're going to go back to the original plan. This brings us right into, ooh, you already, okay, prophetess. You
I'm like, that's social media influencer, yes. Keynote speaker, yes, but yeah, more like an activator, more like a transformer, more like a life regulator, you know. Ah! Bars. No, you do. You do all those things so effortlessly, and you really do. Yeah, you gather women to do that, to create transformation that's so organic and true to who you are and who they are. But I do wanna acknowledge, yes, she's okay, Lucinda Cross, the social media influencer and international keynote speaker. Yay! Right, okay, but great. Now meet the transformer, meet the activator, meet the life regulator that is Lucinda Cross. That's who we have on today.
listen, that 2 seconds as soon as we get off of this podcast.
You're
It
gonna have
is
to
going to be across the
refresh my
board.
browser. I love it. I love it. I love it. I
Mhm.
love it because I think that's more of who you are and what you do. And just for Lucinda, break that down because um I met you in the middle of you being you. And
Mhm.
my friend, our friend Kristen Pope was like, "You gotta meet Lucinda Cross." I'm like, "Okay." We go to DC and I was like, "Oh my gosh." She becomes an instant fave because I watched you in your being just creating a space for women to really come alive, and you were resuscitating dreams and, like,
Mhm.
revitalizing just passion. There's all these things were happening, and I'm not even lying to you, I'm just telling you what I've experienced, and you
Ooh,
continue to do that over time. That was at least 8 years ago, I don't even remember if so,
that was
maybe
like
7 or 8 years ago.
2015.
Yeah, it was forever, it was a long time ago,
Yeah.
and and you've never wavered from that commitment to women, and community, so I love that about you, and I see you bring it to life in so many different areas, but tell people
Mm.
a little bit about who you are and what you do and why you do it.
Ooh, I mean, well, in short, I'm the chief activator. I'm the transformer. I'm the life regulator. My passion is just help really supporting women with their message and how do they bring that to the forefront? What's that true glory story, and how do we make it make sense so that you can be compensated and create amazing things from it, nonprofits, and really activate where your tribe and platform is. And so we just hone in. I hone in on what is that message and how do we pull it together. It's about the
Mhm,
voice. It's all about the
mm.
voice, the message and the messenger. Mhm.
Yeah. Why did you start your company? Why was Activate so important to you?
It was important for me because I actually created something that I needed,
Mm,
and I became my own client. I needed to become my own client.
yeah.
And so, Activate shifted. It was Lucinda Cross Enterprises, but it shifted to Activate and Activate Worldwide once I stepped into my own, becoming my own client and saying, Lucinda, you need to build a tribe, and you need to pour into yourself, and you need to step up on the stage and share who you are and why that's important, and relate to these women who are looking for some level of support and just a push. They're looking for a Mary and Elizabeth experience, someone to give them a permission slip to say you can do it. And so once I did it for myself, I never stopped writing permission slips since.
Yes, I
Mhm.
love that so much. So before you were writing the permission slips, who were you to you?
Mom, before I started writing permission slips, just really, I can't say just a mom because that's the biggest title ever out of
Yeah.
everything. Um, just really trying to navigate motherhood. Uh, does it make sense me going into entrepreneurship? How do I not look selfish to people, to my
Mm.
family? Because I
Yeah.
had at that time two small children. I have three. Everybody's grown now. And so it looked selfish. Oh, Lucinda, you have this degree, this college degree in marketing and in communications, and you're over here trying to start your own business. You're going to leave this job to try to make coins? Like, make it make sense. And then you want us to watch your babies at the same time? Mm. How long is
Right.
this gonna work for you? Like, why
Uh,
you want to write a book? Who writes books? No, we don't
yeah.
have anybody in our family who writes books and starts businesses. What are you doing? Use your college degree and get a good job and get good benefits and all of that is great,
Yeah.
but for me, I felt like I was caught in the matrix. It was just like this whole
Mhm.
routine over and over and over again. And I wanted to live a life of fire and fun and freedom
Yeah.
with children and be okay with that.
What are they saying now? They told you to go sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere and, like, get situated. Stop, like, you're doing too much. Like, what do
What
they
they
have to
saying
say?
now? Oh gosh, they're saying, can I hold something? Can I, can I, can I,
Right. The conversation has evolved, right? It's
oh,
like,
God.
okay, so you and now you see it and you understand. Well, faith is not faith is available to everyone, but it's not for everyone. Like
Mm,
it literally, it's not for everyone to walk on water. Everyone can, but it's not for everyone to do it. It's only those who believe
that's right.
that they're capable of it. So it's hard. Sometimes people will stay on the boat and watch, and they're like, "Oh, you actually did go do the thing that you
Yeah,
said you were capable of doing."
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And so there are many people that to that point will stay on the boat and run the risk of being comfortable their entire life,
Mm,
uh, run the risk of being safe, having a sense of certainty in whatever those most important areas are. Most of the time, it's financial,
mhm.
or love or affection from certain people in their lives. Most of the time, it's like familial love and wanting
Yes,
have acceptance, wanting to have financial security, has kept so many people complacent and kept so many dreams dormant. And
yes.
for you, you seem to, like, get in there and sort of uproot some of those things for people. I wanna know what self-sabotage has meant to you. Like, how do you define self-sabotage?
Mm, whew. Self-sabotage, perfectionism, self-sabotage, procrastination, self-sabotage is avoidance. That's what I would say. That's how it looked for me in my journey. If it had to be perfect, I came from my mother was very double psychology major, double masters. So growing up with everything mindset, it was about having a plan and making sure that plan is the plan. And, you don't change from the plan. And it was like, okay, so don't get too emotional. Don't get too attached. Get attached. Let it go. Speak it. Hold it back. So it's like, well, what's going
What
on?
do I do? Yeah.
What do we do? So the perfectionism played a big part, then the procrastination, and then the avoidance. And for me, as starting my business, and I talked about getting in entrepreneurship when my children were small, what it looked like for me, in short, was just missing out on a major opportunity to grow my business at its early infancy stage because I aligned myself up with a major mentor who opened up the door. And here's the thing, if we don't do the work on ourselves and asking God to open this door and this window and give us access and give us resources, when it's time to be brought to the table, what do we do when we have the go? Are we prepared, or are we going to allow everything else that we didn't pray for to come with us? The things that we're praying against to come with us. And so what I mean by that, I allowed the fears and the doubts and the uncertainty to seep in when my mentor cracked this door open. All I was asking for was a seat at the table and to prove to myself and my loved ones that this thing is going to work. I'm giving my all into this business. And I started out with just writing marketing plans, keynote presentations, putting together presentations and PowerPoints. And what does this look like at that time? It's 2006, 2007. I mean, we didn't have all this fancy social media. So I had to write all the content out
Yeah.
for a lot of powerhouses. And when God opened up the door for me by way of my mentor, this woman seen value in what I brought to the table. And she said, Lucinda, let's work on this pilot. I said, okay, this is great. I have this team. virtual marketing assistants. We're going to work on her clients. She gave us coaching clients from all across the world, right? All across the world. So we're up all kinds of nights. I'm able to hire help as well. Other moms who are working from home or got laid off at that time. It was a big recession. And so I was able to get quality support. We rocked the pilot out. I mean, we did the pilot for 3 months. We rocked the pilot out. We were getting paid top dollars. I mean, life was good. She said, Lucinda, at the end of this pilot, please submit your proposal. I'm going to give you $10,000 just to sign on. Now, mind you, as a first-time entrepreneur,
yeah, you're like, oh, I'm rich.
You used to getting $30,000 at your job.
Yes.
You like $10,000 just to sign on. Mind you, at this point, for each client, I was getting $2,500, just a month, just to work on their stuff 3 or 4 times a month.
Yeah.
This is sweet. So she said, submit your proposal. I have my conference coming up in October. We're going to announce it to everyone at the conference that we are creating a joint venture. She walked me through what a joint venture was. She walked me through how to create the contract, how this would work, how I could bring my team with me, because these ladies are also laid off.
Yeah.
Said, just write it out and send it. Wrote it out, put it together, was excited. We did the work already. Showed my mentor. He said, add a 0. I said, oh. Told my prayer partner. She said, take the 0 off, let God handle it. Still wrestling. Show my mentor. He said, I told you what to do, right? This is where I took you, was a multi-million-dollar mastermind. Everybody that was there paid $50,000 just to be there for 2 days.
Yeah.
Put the 0 back on there, or don't come to me complaining about this anymore.
Right.
And see how it goes back to the young, I don't know, is the plan for the plan, back into perfectionism. And I didn't submit the proposal on time. And she said, Lucinda, did you submit the proposal? And I lied. And I said, yes. We're now I was supposed to submit it in August. She has this big conference in October, where she's announcing to the world all of the clients. She had to have I maybe over 20,000 clients. Like, her team was huge. So from our team to work specifically with her was a big deal. And I said, no, I submitted it. She said, there's nothing in the junk folder, because we didn't have spam back then. There's nothing in the junk folder. There's nothing in the hidden. And then I went, by the time I submitted it took me another couple of weeks. She said, Lucinda, in these past couple of weeks, you sent the proposal, but we've already had to train somebody in the system you've already created in the last minute. The conference is in the beginning of October. We had to get someone else who didn't know your system and show them exactly how to make this work. And they just said yes. And unfortunately, we're announcing them as the joint venture partner. You can come because many of the clients that you worked with will be there, but we won't be doing the joint venture. Wow. And I sat back, Sybil, and the reason why it's important, because people say, oh, well, what's good? God, what God has for you is for you. But if we're asking God to open up doors and give us access and answer prayers, how we show up, we cannot bring procrastination. We cannot bring perfectionism. There's no space for avoidance. There's no room for doubt and faith in the same space. This woman did not know the system that I put together on how to work with these clients from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And all she had was give me a yes, trained her on how to do it. And all she had was a yes, a half of a yes. And I was already in the seat. So I had to watch her business grow, because at this time I'm green-eyed and honestly jealous.
Yeah.
Because she was bold enough to sit in the seat and watch her build her business over 6 figures in less than 90 days, seriously. While I began to struggle because I was so just now in a mode of, what did I do? Because now I have to let these ladies go. We don't have enough clients. It was the worst thing. And I said, I will never. And that's how the true Activate was born. I said, God, I'll never procrastinate on another opportunity. I'll never self-sabotage myself and believe that I don't belong. Or fear of success. I will activate from here on out. I promise.
Girl, my heart hit the floor like it was today. I'm like, "Oh god, not
It's
somebody else using the system that you created." It's like, oh, and that's the thing, people will move forward, whether they're moving forward with your great gifts or not, right? And she had yeah, because she believed enough in what they were creating to move forward whether or not. But isn't it sabotaging for you, me, us to think that we have to get it just the way everyone else wants it? Versus if you had trusted Lucinda and trusted your no having a greater sense of knowing that when Lucinda makes a choice, it's a good one. When Lucinda puts a 0 or Lucinda takes a 0, whatever Lucinda's choice is, it's gonna be the next best choice for her for you, for her, and you have to be willing to move on it. There's so many times when we don't trust ourselves,
yes.
and then we do get envious of the person who's able to be bold and be free with their choices and trust themselves and go
Yes,
out and or even make public mistakes, like having the audacity to just fall publicly. That's
yes.
still, those are big moments. And that perfectionism
Hmm.
does breed procrastination because you will delay it until you think it's perfect enough for who. It's
Yeah.
like the thing perfectionists need to know and realize, I think I learned this in my own ways, and you probably know, is that it will never be perfect enough for us. And even right, even when you do release something, you're so critical, you can't
Yes.
even fully appreciate it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. And who can this is our first go round in
yeah,
earth. This is
yeah.
our first go round, and so who has the blueprint to Lucinda's success? But
Ooh,
here's the thing. Part of that is we also, for those ladies, great girlfriends listening, understand what your triggers are, right? Because once you understand your triggers, which lead to procrastination or avoidance or imposter syndrome or whatever that thing is that prevents you from really stepping forward, even though it's ugly, even though it's imperfect, it, the thing, your success is tied to someone else. My
yeah,
sabotage a line of families because I wasn't confident enough to say yes and add the 0 from the person who put me at the seat. If God put you at the seat, you belong there
yeah,
and let the rest unfold. Sometimes I truly believe we have to, what they say, uh, uh, build it as you go,
yeah,
figure it out along the way. Bring your tools with you, but it's okay to figure it out along the way, right? And trust it, like you said, trust in yourself and
yeah.
removing, to avoid that self-sabotage, removing the self-negative talk.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Getting clear on that, removing that negative talk, recognizing what those fears are, understanding what your triggers are. This is every time I get close enough to this point, I start feeling like this, and then we self-sabotage. So push forward. When you're
Yeah.
feeling scared and queasy and unsure, push forward. Just go. Hit the send button was my message with that.
Yes, yes.
Listen to hit the send button. You're going back and forth. You're talking to someone who believes but doesn't truly believe because they've never done anything. Then you're talking to someone who believes and they know based on experience and knowledge. So you have wise counsel and you have faith in action and you have a talk about it.
Yeah,
Talk about talking about it so we can talk about it. Which one do you follow? And I needed to internally go in and say, here's a trigger, Lucinda.
mhm.
That you don't have mommy's plan for the plan about the plan to put the plan together.
So then let me ask you about that too, because I do believe that part of the release from self-sabotage is reclaiming the voices in your head. And and there are so many of us have we all at some point you have dominant guiding voices in your head. And a revelation that came to me as a parent was I don't want to be the voice in my children's head. I
Mm,
wanna guide them to their most confident belief in their own voice. I don't want them to grow up hearing me in the back of it. I do not want that for them. I honestly want them to trust. So, when I started out parenting, when they're little, and I got a son who wants to, like, jump off every building, eh I'm more regulatory. I'm like, "No, stop, don't, like, I'm there." make big move, but doesn't he need to have the jump off the building faith? You know, that 4-year-old faith when he turns 20 something and he's got to make a big, great decision in life, or when he goes to college and he needs to trust himself to pick a major, or whatever be the choice. So it came to me very early in that all of my like restriction and all of my
Mhm.
correction was blocking his ability to
Mm.
self-correct, to be able to make a choice, to trust himself. So I
Mm.
started asking him, "Is that the best choice for you? You make good choices. You can do it. You know how to make choices. You
That's
understand, like, benefits, consequence. Does this feel right for you?" I started to reframe it because I'm like, "Crap, if I'm in his head and I'm constantly telling him, 'No, stop, think twice.'" I'm giving him all of this apprehension. He is going to
yes.
be so afraid to make decisions, and I don't oh, and her, my daughter too, and I don't want that for them the way I have it
Mm.
for me. So,
Ooh, that is good, Sybil.
I need him to have that direct line to God because mine is like, "All right, it's Sybil." It's like, "Let me check in with mom. Let me check in with dad. Let me check in with my sisters. Then let me go to God. Then let me come back through the funnel." I need that I don't wanna be in the middle of that funnel for them. I realize that I need that guiding voice for my children to be their whatever it is that they have decided as a result of their relationship with God,
Mm.
their conclusive decisions. I wanted that. What like, for
Ooh.
you and
Mm.
that guiding voice, what have you learned about how that either sabotages you or benefits you?
That guiding voice, one, taking it to God is important. For
Yeah,
me as a person who wants to have control, wanted to have so much control,
yeah,
I would go through the cycle of conversations over and over again. So
yeah,
it makes sense based on what I already felt that I needed to do. Let me see if enough people are going to say the thing that I really feel that I'm not
yeah,
saying versus what maybe I need to hear.
yes,
Which is the true guide. I'm over here. I'm like, all right, I need to hear, no, do it, do it, do you know you need to do it. That's what you need to do. Do you, girl? This is your do it moment versus the sit with that for a minute and talk to God.
yeah,
And I'm like, but I
yeah.
did. But I talked to him for about 2 minutes in the shower about it. That's the thing. And I had 13 conversations and gave each conversation about a good 20 minutes. So
Yes.
um, so for me to answer your question, I need and still learning, right, when it pertains to my children, still learning to quiet my mind, to come to my senses, because I'm a quick, I want to be quick on my feet and make a sound decision. But for my children, see, I'm the opposite of you, Sybil. I'm that umbrella parent,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like all in the mix. What? No, you shouldn't have told her that. What you should have said. So I'm like, why? Don't jump because you're gonna hurt yourself. If you hurt yourself, then I gotta leave, then I gotta catch a flight, and then and it's like you gotta let them grow up and be adults and responsible. But on my note, and I seen how my mother, for me as a girl, she taught me that go through it, you feel it. Yep, your hand burned, didn't it? Where versus on my brothers, I have three brothers. No, don't let me turn the stove up. Let me guard the stove so you don't touch it. Wait till it's cool in this area. Where me, I'm like, Mom, my nubs is burning. She's like, told you. Now let's do laundry.
You're like, "Wait, how? Nubs." I said, "Burn."
Right, right. But we have to retrain ourselves to where's the sound and wise advice, wise counsel coming from. That's
Yeah,
so important. We need
yeah,
wise counsel so that we can avoid having 50, 11 conversations about the
yeah,
same thing when God
yeah.
already answered us the first time.
And, you when we think about it, when it comes to women and reclaiming their voices, we have to look at the source and look at the terms and conditions of the source, right? When you think about most of our parents truly did the best they could with what they
Yeah,
had in the times
yeah,
at which they had, and it worked for them then.
yeah.
And for the times, the conditions, and the terms of our life now, we have to start saying, "Well, what works for me now? what do I need to say for myself, to myself? What do I need to hear at high frequency? What do I need to release myself from? Like, I can no longer, I know when I'm making, I'm a youngest of all my siblings, so I just make I'm the unhinged probably of of so when I'm jumping off a cliff, I know that I need to hear certain things from certain people, and I
Right.
don't need to hear certain things from, and I'm not gonna call them by name, but
Right.
they normally hear about my decisions after they're made. And
Mhm.
then there are people that I'll call. "Lucinda, can you pray with me? I need you to stand in agreement. I'm jumping off a cliff because I understand that you know what that looks like, and you understand some of the mental things that I might be the roller coaster I might be on, and you're able to help me walk through that." Or I'm able to say, "Can you, just add your faith to mine on something." But I have to remember that I get to govern that mental space and
Mhm.
the airwaves. It matters who has control over the airwaves. It really does. It
Ooh,
matters.
that is good.
Yeah, it matters, right? And it's like,
Mm.
it matters, and it matters how healthy. Even when I'm governing the airways, I gotta assess, am I coming from a
Mm.
really scared Sybil space? Am I coming from a fully vested, like fully self-aware and in tune with God's space? Or am I coming from a very confused and afraid, little girl space? Like where am I coming from? Because I have to talk myself out of things sometimes.
That's right. You know, Dee
Yeah.
Marshall says something. She says something. She says, we have to check our thoughts at the gate. They can't, they have to go to security,
Yeah.
you go through some are just unauthorized, and we
Yeah.
have to watch that, right? And so when I think of
Yeah.
even with the airwaves, it's like if we're standing in agreement, then okay, I know Lucinda has conquered some fears, conquered
Yep.
some doubts. She
Yep.
knows what to pray about so that I don't, as I'm jumping, she's knows where to come in at. But
Yeah.
checking our thoughts at the
Yeah.
gate will help us stay out of that space of self-sabotage, to say you don't belong here. This is a power move. And if it's
Right.
anything less than elevation, I can't listen. I can't receive this right now.
Yeah. It's not good for me. What would you say to a woman who is sitting in the middle of that mental conflict where she is recognizing that she no longer wants to carry the same patterns that she had in 2023, but she hasn't figured out her start. She
Mm.
needs to stop the pattern, the cycle of self-sabotage. And it could be one area, it could be multiple areas. But what would you say to her? What's her first step?
I talked about this today on my IG Live, how important it is for us to unplug, to recharge, and to get clarity.
Yeah.
And seriously finding what I call a verbal fast, a mental fast, a verbal fast. We invest in a lot of things. Take some time away for yourself. No
Yeah.
one there, no one to talk and chuckle with, just you and your notebook, and listen to what happens, watch what happens around you. So whatever decisions you need to make, whatever fears you want to drop before 2024 comes, and you don't want to bring it into your new year, find some time, a day, some hours, a weekend, just to get away someplace, get around nature, get around some whatever feeds you. For me, water feeds me. I need to be around trees, water, and so take your notebook and write down things. You'll start to hear. What we need to do is change the gates. You'll start to
Yeah.
hear with your eyes. You know, you'll
Mhm.
certain people will be walking past, maybe walking their dog, and they'll have conversations, and they'll say something really loud
Yeah.
based on an answer that you're seeking. And so looking for the answers in our natural element, I would say, would be the first step. Watch what you might be like, oh, there's a bluebird. A bluebird. I remember my grandmother always talking about blue. Well, what does bluebirds mean?
Yeah.
Allow yourself to recalibrate so that there's no other voices around, and sometimes not even your own, and just take
Yeah.
inventory on everything that happens for the next few hours, the weekend, whatever that is, and write everything down. Oh, at 1:50, I heard such and such and such. At 2 o'clock, whatever that is, whatever, don't discount any moment, because you'll be surprised. Even reading on your receipt, it may have an answer to say, go for that job. And you're like, why is that on my receipt? Go for that job.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Write the book. Your book title will come from the store, so you'll see a quote that stands out in the bathroom and you're like, really? Girl,
Mhm.
you've got it? That's
Yeah.
the title. So we have to allow um the and I use this lightly, the universe to feed us,
Yeah.
because we're spiritual beings. And if we get so caught into being in the mix and so much noise, and so everything is advertising to us and telling us what to do, we live our day-to-day lives being told what to do and what not to do. Put
Right.
yourself in a space where you can hear from yourself.
Mhm.
Yourself is waiting to hear. Lucinda is waiting to hear from Lucinda. She's like, girl, come on.
Yeah.
So tired of you calling your best friend, and y'all need therapy, girl. Can I talk to you? I know the answers. I see
Yes.
it before you see it. Like,
Yeah. Yep. And it's something, 'cause sometimes we're so busy seeking it from everybody else, and sometimes we just need to get quiet and have uninterrupted time and space with nature. Like, convening in nature really is transformative. It is life-saving, honestly. I couldn't agree with you more. I could, and it's so interesting, like you said, be it the birds will speak to you, there'll be a billboard that you never even noticed, or some little granny will walk up and give you a compliment, or just, just give you
yeah,
say something warm that reinforces what you need to hear when you need to hear it. It always happens.
it
It
does.
really it does, it always happens. I think that's God's way of saying that I'm always with you. Like, I'm never gonna leave you without, but you do need to seek me, seek quiet, seek communion, like, be willing to have that space, like you're saying, and let it return something to you.
Mm,
I love that, Lou, I'm with
mhm.
that. I'm with
Yes,
that. And you always need to call on somebody that you can trust, and I think it's
right.
important to have your great girlfriends,
That's right.
that are in your corner. How has that helped you out as you have to make different choices?
Ooh, just being connected to a tribe of women
Yeah,
that feeds you, even when you don't even know you need to be fed, is important. Especially when you know that they are feeding themselves
yeah,
and they're giving you from a place of extra.
yeah,
It just feels, it's a high frequency conversations. It's not a heavy feeling. I know what it's like being around other circles and it's a little heavy. It's like, whew, I done left them in. Jeez,
right.
I need you. And then I know what it's like leaving, and it's like, man, that was really refreshing.
Yes, yes.
I really can't
I
wait to
want more of
just to
that.
be around them. We don't need to talk. We don't need to, but just to be around them.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
refreshing getting a message from you and you're like, Lucinda, sure can count me in. It's refreshing. And we all are going through our stuff, but who you surround yourself with, who's doing the work for themselves. And I just say, I love being around great girlfriends who has just even a mustard seed of faith.
Yeah. Isn't it
That's
something? Yeah. It is it feels reinforcing. It's like, okay, faith is a way. It's a thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you and it feels like you, are you're, like, at home. I know that I have a home with
Mhm,
you
mhm,
because I know the range
mhm.
of conversation can go from faith, God, prayer to trap to kids to book fashion, whatever be the case, there's always room, and that's like that's the power of a good community. Like, that's when it's really good.
It's
Yeah,
needed. It's needed.
yeah,
If listen, they need to invite some more of your great girlfriends. Don't hold this as a secret. That's the other thing, right? Because when you get a part of a great tribe like the great girlfriends, you're like, oh, this is for me. This is no, because we have to elevate each other. If you don't want her to be toxic anymore, right? Or she
right.
has to come grow, let her, because the love is going to overpower whatever's going on. So
Yeah,
invite more great girlfriends in the mix. Start them off young. Right, start them
right.
off young. Your girls is in college. Just have them be a part. Listen to one podcast. Listen to
Yep,
two.
yep.
And it transforms. We create a wave,
Yeah.
and so
I love. Lou, I can't keep you all day, but where can our great girlfriends reach out to you if they have questions, if they wanna attend your next event, if they wanna purchase your book, if they
yes.
wanna just have coaching? Hello, come on. because the big ask is truly a transformative experience, and the book itself is awesome. I just love it. So where can they keep up with you?
Oh, they can follow me. Chief Activator. They can follow me on Instagram is one of my favorite places to play, in Facebook. Just I'm Googleicious, so you could put Lucinda Cross and connect with me there. I have YouTubes and TikToks and Instagram, but if you're really looking to do some of the work, I am honored to support you in it. Just reach out to me on Instagram and slide in my DMs.
I love it. Thank you so much. Great girlfriends. Thank you for hanging out with us today. I hope that we gave you some really solid food for thought. I hope that we did intercept some of those perfectionist moments that you were about to walk into, or even some of those sabotaging thoughts that were just disrupting where you belong versus where you are. And any questions you have about this episode, you know, to email us, welcome@thegreatgirlfriends.com. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, Lucinda, for joining. I love you long time, big time. Here's my heart for you, girl. I love you. And happy holidays to you.
Same to you, Sybil.
All right, peace. All right, great girlfriends. Did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast and the community. Speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group at The Great Girlfriends, follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends, and on Twitter at @the_great GFS. I'm Sybil Amuti, and I'm out. Peace.